Hello everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we are back with one more very important string problem that is often asked in the interviews also. The problem name is longest palindromic substring, which is there in the lead code blind 75 SD sheet as well. So let's see the problem statement. Basically we have been given a string S. We need to find the longest palindromic substring present in string S. And for palindrome, I think you all know very well, like a palindrome is a sequence of characters that reads the same forward and backward. Okay, so I have taken the examples from the lead code only. So I will let's see the example one, that is string S. We have been given as input, that is BABAD. So the output we have to return is basically we need to find the longest substring, that is a palindrome. Okay, so here in this question the longest one is BAB, or ABA is also valid. So multiple answers are acceptable. If the string size is same, you can return the output as anything, like BAB is also valid and ABA is also valid, and they are palindromes, right? Because if we see the forward of it, that is BAB, and from backward also it is same. Similarly, in example 2, string S is equals to CBBD. The output we get is BB because these two are only the letters which are same from both forward and backward. Constraint we have been given as string length is greater than equal to 1 and less than equal to 1000. And one more thing, that is string S only consists of only digits and English letters. Okay, so problem explanation is as I already told, it's a straightforward problem. Like our goal is to find the longest substring, that is a palindrome. So if you guys have any doubt in palindrome, so I have provided examples of it. Basically this race car is also a palindrome, because if we see from the backward, then also it is having the same spelling as forward. Okay, and madam also MADAM from forward, and backward also MADAM, so it is also a palindrome. So hello is not a palindrome because it is different from forward and backward. So our the question we got, what we have to do is basically clear to everyone, but how we will think, like in a basic manner, how we will think in a very naive way. Basically we will generate all the substring, right? So the proper concept is basically we will generate all the substring and we will check whether they are palindromes or not. If a substring is a palindrome, we will update the maximum length found so far. Okay, so steps are basically very simple. We will generate all the possible substring using two loops, like we do in all the problems, generating all possible substring using two loops. Okay, one is outer for loop, another one is the nested for loop, right? Then we have to check if the substring is a palindrome. We have to create write the condition for check. So if the substring is palindrome, and we have to keep the track of longest palindromic substring found. Okay, so for this approach, like for generating all the substring, like we are using two for loops, that will give us a O of n square time complexity, which is not optimal at all. And after that we need to check also, like checking each substrings, like longest whether it is longest or not, which will take O of n time complexity. So the overall time complexity for this approach will be O of n cube. So it is considered as too slow for the large inputs, right? Space complexity we don't need to bother about, because it is taking constant space if we ignore the output storage. So that is okay. Okay, so let's see we have to think something optimal, right? So we will go towards other approach, like optimal approach, which will be similar to previous problem as I discussed. Like it will be expanding around the center approach. The approach is quite simple. Okay, like our idea is, instead of generating all the substring, what we will do, basically we will expand around each character, considering it as the center of a palindrome. If you guys follow our channel, I have already did one more problem related to this only, string only, and where we use the expand around center. approach. Okay, so you can visit those problems. I think last to last problem was related to that only, like longest repeating character problem, replacement problem. So that also, I guess, that problem is also can be solved by this approach. Okay, so what we will do is basically we have to generating instead of generating all the substring, we will expand around each character considering it as a center of a palindrome. Our observation will be like a palindrome expands symmetrically from its center, right? So a palindrome can have two things, like odd length for single character, that is we will take odd length, but for even length we will take two centers. Okay, so the steps are like we will iterate through each character in S. Okay, and we will try to expand around the center for both odd length and even length palindromes, and we will be needing the like keeping track of the longest palindrome form. Okay, if we do the dry run for this input like BABAD, so at ith index odd centered expansion, like B is at 0th index, and if we count it, it is odd, that is 1, and even centered expansion is not there right now, so longest will be B. Again at first index it is like BAB, because it is taking the second, basically even centered, so or it is odd centered, right? So BAB will be like we are expanding here, and even centered expansion we are not taking it right now, so it will be BAB. After that ABA we are taking. Okay, so what happens is basically it is similar. ABA is also the longest one is BAB only, because 3 is equals to 3. Then afterwards we have A. Okay, odd centered expansion. If we do, then even centered expansion we need to take two characters at a time, that is BB, and then the longest will be BAB. Okay, after that we have D as a odd centered expansion character, then even centered expansion we don't need to do, and the longest one is BAB. So the final answer will be BAB only. So let's see the code to understand it in a much better manner. Like what we did, basically we need to write the function to expand around the center and find the longest palindrome from left and right. Okay, so it is like pair int, we are taking pair expand around each center, we are passing string S and left int right. Okay, we will continue expanding as long as characters are equal and within the bounds. So this is the condition for it, you all can see, and we are moving the left pointer to the left and we are moving the right pointer to the right. Okay, for like expansion purposes and shrinking purposes, right? Then we have to return the final correct indices like left plus 1 and right minus 1 after over expanding it. Okay, after that we have a string longest palindrome, we have length of the string for n, and this is edge case, basically if n is equals to 0, so it is empty string, and we have to start index of the longest palindrome, so we are initiating with the start variable, that is 0, and also we are taking max length is equals to 0, so it is basically storing, it will store the maximum length of the palindrome found. Okay, and after that we need to like iterate through each characters of the string S. Okay, for we use the for loop, and for checking for odd length palindrome centered at the one character. Okay, so we are using this function, we have been calling like the function we declared above, L1 R1 and left one right one, and this is we are passing over here, and basically this is string S, this is left, this is right. Okay, then again we are checking for even length palindrome that is centered between two characters, that is L2 R2, and we are expanding around center, like this time as string S and I, I plus 1. We will update the longest palindrome if found, that is odd length case. Okay, basically this is the logic here, it's simple, you all can think of it. Okay, then afterwards updating the longest palindrome if found, this is for even length case, like this time we have to update two characters at a time. Okay, at last we have to return the longest palindrome substring using the start index and max length. So basically this is the s.substring function, we are passing it over here. I hope the code is clear to all. If not, I'm going to explain you the code as well. Okay, so basically a palindrome expands symmetrically from its center. We consider each character as a correct center and expand outward. Okay, we also check for even length palindrome by considering pair of adjacent character at the center. And also we use the helper function expand around center that I show you all in the code. in the top of the main like function, we use the helper function expand around center, and we have to expand as long as the character at left and right are equal. Okay, and we have to return the character indices of the longest palindrome found in the expansion. And again, what we did basically in the code also, we iterated through each character in s by with the help of for loop, and expanded the for odd length palindromes I as center, and expand for even length palindromes for I comma I plus 1 as center. In always remember, in even length case we have to take two characters as center. Okay, ith and I plus 1. Then afterwards we have to keep track of the longest palindrome found. In this way, the time complexity for this approach will be O of n square. Like for expanding, each center takes O of n, and we do this for O of for n positions, right? So it will be like much faster than O of n cube time complexity, and space complexity will be like constant. No extra space is used from apart from a few variable. So I hope the explanation is clear to all. If you understood the solution, please hit the like button and also share it with the other students. Thank you.